PlayStation's June 2025 State of Play is in the books, and it was an amazing one. Let's talk about it. Hello there everybody, and welcome to The Comfy Spot. My name is Tyler, and today we are going to be talking about PlayStation's June 2025 State of Play, specifically my highlights from the show, because this was an amazing show from top to bottom, start to finish. I was blown away by how good this show was. Not that I was expecting it to be bad per se, but I was expecting it to at least, be good at a bare minimum. Going to these things all across the board, all showcases with low expectations, you come out pretty, you won't be disappointed that hard. This one surpassed any and every expectation I had for it though. Yes, we did not get some of the games that I was hoping for, and yes, this was a very Japanese game developer heavy State of Play, so if you're not a fan of those types of games, you might not have been too interested in many of the ones that were shown here, but we have to be objective here, and we have to state that even if you weren't interested in some of these games, they all looked actually really good, really great. So many great games, from big AAA teams to smaller teams as well across the board. This was just a fantastic show, start to finish. Can't emphasize that enough. So I want to go over my 5 highlights from the show. I'm not going to go over every single game. I want to talk just specifically about my 5 key highlights from the show. So without further ado, let's get right on into it. Let's kick this off by talking about what is probably the biggest announcement from the show, that being Marvel Tōkon, hope I pronounced that correctly, Fighting Souls. This was probably the biggest announcement, the most shocking announcement for me, most certainly. This is a PlayStation Studios branded game that is being made in collaboration with Arc System Works, the developers behind Dragon Ball FighterZ, Guilty Gear Strive, and many other acclaimed 2D fighting games, and of course, Marvel as well. This is a 4v4 tag team fighting game based around the Marvel universe. I couldn't believe this. I could not believe it. I expected an XDev game to appear here, but I never would have expected the XDev game to be this specific project. Everything about this looks fantastic. Marvel Tōkon is just looking incredible visually. I love the distinct art style and the character designs that we have here. Just the action, all just so reminiscent of Marvel vs. Capcom, which, even if you're not necessarily a Marvel vs. Capcom person, if you're aware of the franchise, you know that series has basically been non-existent ever since Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite came out, to very tepid response from the community, and people have been longing for Marvel vs. Capcom to return in some way, shape, or form ever since then, back to its glory days of Marvel vs. Capcom 2, even Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Ultimate, to be specific, but this is looking like, if we're not going to get Capcom to do a Marvel 2D fighting game, you get Arc System Works. They are going to be the next best, if not the better team to do it, bringing, their very distinct design sensibilities when it comes to visuals, as well as gameplay sensibilities too. It just seems just the perfect match right here, the perfect match for this game, for this IP, for this franchise. The gameplay mechanics that they're talking about, again, the whole 4v4 thing, being able to tag in 3 other assist members or switch whoever your leader is mid-match, just seems so cool, so interesting. I myself am not much of a fighting game person. I'm not necessarily the best at fighting games, but I will tell you this much. I will certainly be playing this game whenever it comes out next year for PS5 and PC, because it just looks like so much fun. The characters we got revealed in the trailer, we got Iron Man, Captain America, Spider-Man, Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, Doctor Doom, Robbie Reyes is Ghost Rider, and Storm, and Star-Lord. So 8 characters announced right off the bat. They did say that they will be announcing more characters over time. I can only imagine how deep this roster is going to go and just what it's going to be like actually playing it. But when you look at the gameplay, it looks like it's going to be carrying on that spirit of the chaotic, just combo heavy, action, frenetic energy that was very prevalent in the Marvel vs. Capcom series. So if you are a fighting game fan, if you are a Marvel vs. Capcom fan, if you are an Arc System Works fighting game fan, Marvel Tōkon Fighting Souls is definitely one to keep your eye on. I am very excited for it. I'm going to be keeping my eye on it for sure. And I just can't wait for this game. I can't wait for it. I really want to play it. My second highlight from the show is going to be 007 First Light. We got an official reveal for the game after getting the title announced earlier this week. And 007 First Light, we got a story trailer for it. It looks pretty cool. It looks promising. We actually have our first look at what the new James Bond is going to be, the new face of James Bond, at least in the video game world and the live action movie world. Who knows what it's going to be? But 007 First Light, it's basically, we're doing an origin story for James Bond here, an original origin story here. So James Bond and their game, and this game developed by IO Interactive, the developers behind the Hitman franchise. And their story here, James Bond, he was a crewman in the Royal Navy, and now he's being brought on into the world of espionage. He's going on missions to try and earn his 00 status title. Again, the story cinematic trailer we got here looked pretty cool. It looks visually very great. We got a few snippets of gameplay in there, not much, but a couple snippets, but it definitely looks like it's going to be keeping that energy, keeping the tone, the spirit of what you want from a good James Bond story. Some slick action, some nice stealthing around, some good espionage, and of course, gadgets. We got some gadget teases in there. We saw a bit of a watch that when James pressed a button on it and it activated this jet booster on this motorcycle that was nearby. Looks like we're going to be getting a lot of cool stuff going on with it. They did say a deeper gameplay reveal would be happening at some point this summer, so we got to wait and see for what that's going to be and what actual gameplay looks like. But this first early tease of 007 First Light, it has me excited. I'm looking forward to it. I wonder what you are thinking too. Let me know down in the comment section below if you're excited for 007 First Light. My third highlight from the state of play is going to be this game called Hirogami. It's coming from Bandai Namco Studios Singapore, and I don't believe this is the first time this game has been announced, but this is my first time seeing it, and I am so in love with the concept. I'm so in love with the art style. In this game, you're playing as this character called Hiro, who is a master folder, and basically you have to save your origami home, your origami village. And in order to do this, you're going to be transforming into different origami forms in order to do so in this, third-person action-adventure type game. So you'll be transforming, like we saw in the trailer, into a paper plane. There was an armadillo that could roll through things and hit them really hard. We saw there was a frog that you could transform into, an origami ape you could transform into. Just all these different origami things you could transform into. I really love it. The gameplay seems really interesting and neat. And again, that art style, I'm always a sucker for unique, interesting art styles. Not to say, no shade towards any ultra realistic art styles. I love, games that are hyper realistic and that go for that level of detail and stuff. But it's always so refreshing to see games that go for something more interesting, more unique, more just personalized, just out there. And this is definitely one of those games that's doing that. It kind of reminds me a bit of Tearaway, because Tearaway was also all about the folding and the paper and stuff with its art style. But Hirogami here, it looks fun. I definitely want to know more about it, and we got a release date for it. It is coming out on September 3rd, 2025. So mark that one on your calendar. I'm adding that to my list of games that I am looking forward to this year. Hopefully I'll be able to have time to play it. Whether or not that happens is anyone's guess. But Hirogami, definitely one that I have on my highlight list, and I wonder if it'll be one of yours. My fourth highlight from the state of play is going to be Pragmata, or Pragmata, however you want to pronounce it. This game coming from Capcom, making its grand return after a lengthy absence, to say the least. Sidebar, it's actually really funny. I almost put this down as a prediction. I almost wrote it down as a prediction for the state of play, but I said, why not? I'll go with Judas instead. I'll put Judas. Judas didn't appear, but Pragmata did. I was thinking Pragmata was kind of maybe going the way of Deep Down. If that's, if you were around for the PlayStation 4 era and Deep Down, you know exactly why I was thinking that. But Pragmata has returned. We got a brand new trailer for it, a gameplay trailer showing off some story bits as well. We now know that the little girl that we have with us, her name is Diana, and we saw how combat is going to work here, combat and traversal sums. So the way the game is going to be is your main character Hugh, this astronaut, you and the little girl Diana, you're going to have to make it through this space station that's on the moon, and you're gonna be, you know, getting into combat and interactions with other enemies, and you have to use both of them at the same time. So like Diana has like some sort of hacking ability, and Hugh has his weapons and his own combat moves to do. So you have to control them both while you're fighting, while you're traversing around the world. The gameplay looks interesting, and it kind of reminded me a bit of what's the name? Oh my gosh, Vanquish. It kind of reminded me a bit of Vanquish to an extent, ever so slightly, when we saw some of the dashing that Hugh was doing around. But it looks cool. I'm happy to see that Pragmata has finally returned after a lengthy absence, because, you know, the first teaser trailer that we got back, I think when the PS5 was being first revealed, was really intriguing and compelling. And then we got another trailer, I think maybe a year or so later, that, you know, teased a bit more but kind of left us still in the dark, and the game just basically went radio silent. It's cool that it's back now. I'm excited about it, and we know it is coming in 2026. They put a release year on it, and they were very coy in the trailer when they went to say, yeah, 2026, because previously, I believe they said it was delayed from 2022 to 2023 in like a short little teaser that a short little video they put out back then. And of course, that didn't happen, so they had the card where they did that before, and they changed it to saying, sorry, 2026, the game is real, guys. So hey, at least Capcom is aware that it's been a while since we saw it. But Pragmata, it looks fun. I'm happy to see it's back. Happy it's coming out next year. My final highlight from the state of play is going to be Silent Hill F. I am not a Silent Hill person, as I have said on the channel before, but Silent Hill F just looks awesome. It looks really, really intriguing. It looks so creepy and ominous and just terrifying. I love the creature design that we see here. I love the environmental design, the tone, just everything about it seems amazing. It seems really great. I'm all on board with it. This is not a game I would play though. It's not a game I would play, but I can recognize that this looks like really solid, really great stuff here. Again, this trailer gave us a bit more in terms of what we could expect from the story, from the narrative that's going to be going on here, what the main character Hinako is going to be experiencing, what she's going to be tormented by, perhaps something that happened involving her and some of her classmates, because there's constantly the constant line of dialogue about Hinako, you said you weren't going to leave me alone, why'd you abandon us, so on and so forth. It was like the shot or the scene of her walking through this marsh, and there were all these scarecrows in it, but the scarecrow mannequins were meant to be resembling classmates of hers, I assume, and then we'll see her like in a school getting attacked by mannequins of these classmates. It was all very creepy and terrifying, but it just looks so freaking good. I'm sure Silent Hill fans are probably really into this, or at least I hope they are, because like it looks quality. I understand Silent Hill has kind of been up and down in recent years. I mean, Silent Hill 2 remake was up there for sure. And then there was the other Silent Hill game that kind of came out I think a year or so ago. The one's meant to be like an ARG community thing that they all worked together on that was not that great. But Silent Hill F, it looks like it'll be on that Silent Hill 2 remake quality tier, in my opinion, just from my outside looking in eyes. But hey, nevertheless, it's looking cool, and it's coming out later this year, very soon actually, September 25th. I was very surprised by that September 25th release date, so do not have to wait long. September is going to be a packed month for games, and Silent Hill F is just added to the list. So those are going to be my main 5 highlights from the show, but I do quickly want to go over just a couple shout outs that I have from some other games here in the state of play, a very packed state of play that I just wanted to quickly highlight as just like, oh yeah, I also lighted that one too. Just a very quick shout out, not going as in depth about them like I do with my main 5 highlights. The first one is going to be Sword of the Sea, coming from the developer Giant Squid, who's the developer behind Abzu and The Pathless. Not the first time we've seen this game. This game has been announced for some time, but it's always great to get a new look at it. Gameplay looks awesome, the visuals look awesome. It's coming out August 19th later on this summer, and it will be launching directly into the PlayStation Plus game catalog, which is always a good plus right there. The team of Asobi appeared to say, hey, Astrobot, we got more levels for you all. They're coming later on this month, and those levels are going to have new special bots as well, including Atsu from Ghost of Yote, which speaking of, quick sidebar, Ghost of Yote did appear here ever so briefly, basically just to say, hey, the game exists, don't forget it, and also a special dedicated state of play for Ghost of Yote will be happening in July, as I expected. Not surprised by that. So that was also another nice little touch right there from the state of play today. I also want to quickly shout out Luminous Arise. This is coming from Enhance, the developers behind Tetris Effect. And if you play Tetris Effect, you should already know what you're going to be getting from this. The type of visual style, the music, everything about this looks super cool. Tetris Effect is a game I played a little bit of, not all of it though, but I love the visuals and the music, so I expect the exact same thing will be just excelling here in Luminous Arise. It's coming later on this year, later this fall specifically, to PS5 and PSVR, but there will be free single player and multiplayer demos available at some point later this summer. And the final game I wanted to just give a quick shout out to is Romeo is a Dead Man. This is coming from Grasshopper, that team headed up by Suda51. If you are familiar with that team at all, you already know their games get really out there, really wacky, really crazy. And Romeo is a Dead Man looks like it'll be, fitting quite into that, right into their niche, right into what you would expect from a Suda51 game. It's ultra violent, melee, third-person action and shooting and stuff. It looks wild. It looks absolutely wild. I highly recommend you go check it out if you are a fan of their work. And if you're not a fan of their work, still check it out because it might turn you on in a really interesting way. It's coming out next year too, which is pretty soon in the grand scheme of things. So just want to quickly give that game a shout out as well. And that's it. That's all I'm going to talk about from the state of play today. Again, there was a lot here in it that I didn't even talk about in this video, so I highly recommend you all go check it out. I know there's a lot of stuff happening in the next couple days. We got the Nintendo Switch launching, we have Summer Game Fest, we have the Xbox Game Showcase. There's so much happening, but if you could take the time, just like 40-45 minutes or so to watch this state of play, or even just check out some of the highlight trailers from it, that other people might be pointing out, by all means, you'd be doing yourself a disservice if you did not, because there's a lot of great stuff here. The state of play was probably my favorite in a long time. I'd say it was the best in a long time. So again, highly recommend you all go check it out. Let me know what your highlights from the show were down in the comment section below. Were they some of the ones that I said, or were they ones that I did not mention? Let's talk about it down in the comment section. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell. That way you know as soon as new videos go live. I'm going to be making some Nintendo Switch 2 content in the very near future. I'll be making an unboxing video, so that'll be going up on the channel. I also intend to be making an impressions video in the coming weeks just about my experience with the Nintendo Switch 2 as well. So get subscribed and get those notifications on, that way you know as soon as those videos go up, and you can be one of the first people to watch them. All that said, my name is Tyler, and this has been The Comfy Spot, and we will talk next time. Have a good one.